What's up, y'all? I'm Datrianna, your local artsy girl with big feels. I'm a product designer and self-taught artist on a quest to learn traditional art, take up more space, and build a creative community. I've been on a journey to get in tune with my creative self and my creativity for the past, let's say 2 years or so. And I want to share some things that have helped me feel more tapped into my creativity and be more expressive and just kind of come home to who I am and who I know I'm meant to be. So let's jump into the tips. Okay, so tip number one, I started with me, like my physical sort of being. Like, do I look like the kind of person I want to look like? Would I be interested in talking to me if I bumped into me? And working from home is so easy to just put on a t-shirt and sweatpants, but that's probably my least favorite options for attire ever. So if I'm wearing that, I'm probably not feeling super lovely in my creativity and expressing myself through my clothes and how I show up in the world. And so ways that I kind of get around that is one, I have a scarf that my wife made me that I'm obsessed with, and I really try to wear it as much as possible because low-key I think it activates my creative superpowers, and it just makes me feel cool and chic no matter what I'm wearing, and that has already elevated my look even on days when I do have on sweatpants and a t-shirt. And then the other thing is some glasses. For as long as I can remember in my design career, I've always had some go-to frames, and I would wear them to interviews as probably a way to create a barrier between me and the interviewer, but also as a way to just give myself an extra boost. And so I keep a pair of glasses on my desk. Figure out what your scarf or your glasses are, and just little accessories that you might be able to add to even your cozy home outfits. If you're creating at home and still want to have that boost, that's a great place to start. So the next thing is look around you. We've already addressed you and your look and how you feel and the things you can kind of wear that will make you feel more creative. But is your space inspiring? Are the things you use when you're feeling creative easy to access? So for me, I have art supplies all over the house, but that makes it fun and easy to quickly grab a pen or pencil or a paintbrush or whatever it is. Even if at this point it's my vlog camera or my laptop, whatever it is that you're using, are your things easy for you to access? Does your space inspire you? And this is not to say you need to go out and buy some elaborate decor, but more do you have a candle that you like? Do you have a lighter that you like? Are your creative tools nearby and easy to access so that when inspiration hits, you can quickly get to them? And when you're not feeling necessarily inspired, they're still around you, kind of reminding you that hey, we're here when you're ready for us. And sometimes when I'm not in the mood to draw, seeing my sketchbook in a pencil case will make me be yep, girl, you should be opening that up. So what exactly are you waiting on? So it serves as a form of accountability and a reminder of hey, these are the practices that you have committed yourself to, and we're here when you're ready to show up again. So yeah, think about your space and ways that you can make it more inspiring and also make your creative tools more easy to access. The next tip is seek inspiration. And this one I say with a grain of salt because I literally have on a hoodie right now that says, "Too many critics, not enough creators." In that I feel we put a lot of pressure on being inspired when most of the time we need to just be making time to do the things we want to do and to create. But we'll get there. So seek inspiration. I think you can do this in so many ways, going to local spaces like the museum, things like communal spaces where, you might just co-work from somewhere new for a day. These things don't have to be something that you're doing all the time, and you can switch up how you seek inspiration. I used to pride myself on being a person who didn't like museums. And in the last few years, I have come to love art museums. I don't really know what, like, when the shift happened. I do know what caused the shift because the more I got into drawing and figuring out what it takes to make art, the more respect I have for people who have made so much art that they have enough to fill a room or a whole museum. In the case of like Picasso, story for another day, but I'm obsessed with the fact that the Picasso Museum in Barcelona, it's just like full of his sketches and paintings and like from every era of creativity that he had. So anyhow, all that to say, seek inspiration. Figure out for you like what kind of spaces inspire you. Where do you want to be spending your time? Can you do the creative act that you want to be doing in a new space? These are all ways to sort of like switch up the vibes, figure out what you like, and then fit that into your schedule more often. So that's what I got on seeking inspiration. You don't need to overdo it. I don't think we need to give inspiration so much credit for the things that we make or our ability to make them. And you should know that you have so much reference material right up here that inspiration is just another part of being a creative, but it is not the end all be all. And that's kind of why I started these tips with like, start with you and like your being and what you can do in your immediate environment. And then you can sort of like branch out from there. The last tip, but not least, make time to create. The time is not going to just like sneak up on us and be like, hey, you need to pick up this pen and write or make that video. It's not going to happen, sadly. We would probably all make more things if that's how our creative tools approached us. But unfortunately, that's not how this works. So you got to make the time. And I am the queen of not remembering to put the really important stuff on the calendar, but I'm going to put something silly on my calendar. Not that my creativity is silly, but just like less dire, less serious things actually make it there. So for me, that looks like I call my creative time art camp, and I will put art camp on my calendar. Sometimes I put on the shared calendar with my wife so she knows, hey, this is my dedicated creative time. And I call it art camp because it could be so many things. Like, obviously, I'll spend time drawing. Now I have like video making and like learning about making videos and that kind of thing. I was supposed to learn to crochet last year, which, to be fair, I learned the basics, but have yet to make a garment. And all of those things can fall within art camp. It's just creative time. And I wrote down like, treat it like time you've scheduled with somebody you would never flake on. And you would want that person to be you, except I'm here to tell everybody a secret. I flake on myself way more than I should. So I don't want to treat it like, oh, it's just time I have with myself, because I'm not in a space where I'm going to treat that like I should be treating it. And that's okay. But you should treat the time that you set aside for being creative like it's time you've booked with someone you really care about and whose time you value. And hopefully that will inspire you to show up to it. Nevertheless, you got to do what works for you. So you could book that time in the morning, at lunchtime, at night. That all depends on what kind of person you are. And I think to be in creative like alignment and flow, you don't want to be forcing yourself to like be creative at a time that's not really your time. So if you know, like, I'm a night person, I am a night person. But I also know that by the end of the workday, my brain is fried. And so I get to make a choice about like, do I start my day with my like most creative endeavor, or do I end my day with it? I tend to end my day with it, but I continue to profess to people that I would love to start my day with it and like use my freshest, most crisp brain on my art. Nevertheless, I start my day at the gym for the most part, or bed rotting about the fact that I have to adult one more time. Anyhow, that's my process. And I think those steps have been really helpful for me. They are things that I can come back to when I feel like I'm in a rut or like, oh, this is not feeling good. I'm scared to make art or I don't have time and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, these are the four things. Sister, have you put on a decent looking outfit that makes you not run when you see yourself in the mirror? And is your space doing what you need it to do for you to make art and be creative? And me trying to remember step 3. Oh, have you sought out inspiration? Like, get out the house. Go and see some other creative people and be in community with them. Maybe. And then the last thing, schedule the time and take it seriously. Those are the tips. If you liked this video and you want to see what I actually make when I finally harness my creativity into something, check out my recent sketchbook reflections and how to learn from the art that you make. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.